September 2023 has been a wild and crazy month for SEO. Google is constantly changing things, throwing everything out of whack, and the people that are investing SEO could be pulling out their hair because they're like, what's going on? It's not paying off, blah, 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 all of those things. Don't panic. Let's talk about it.
This isn't just any podcast. This is your secret weapon for dominating the market.
This is the Restoration Marketing Secrets Podcast, and this is your host, Sean McMeen.
Welcome to episode 24 of Restoration Marketing Secrets. I am your host, Sean McMeen, and today we're going to talk about the panic that is setting in the SEO world. Oh my God, Google's changing everything, and my rankings are dropping, my rankings are going up. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, didn't mean to go off on a tangent there, but that's truly what it seems to be happening nowadays. And if you look at the volatility index out there about the amount of updates Google is doing, it is constant right now, and it has been that way for the last couple months. And if I'm a betting man, it's going to continue to be that way. There's nothing you can do about it. Google is a monopoly. They do control the internet for search traffic. And if you want to grow your business, you unfortunately have to play the game of SEO and paid ads sometimes in order to grow that business. You can't just rely on referrals. So, in order to play the game, you have to be smart about how you're investing your resources and time. And so today we're going to talk about what's happening right now and how it impacts you, and what kind of feedback I'm hearing and seeing in the SEO world as of September 2023. So, if you're a business owner and you have never heard about this update in September 2023, that's amazing. You're working in your business and not worrying about SEO. If you're listening to this and you are worried about SEO, most likely you're probably not getting enough jobs right now, and so you're like, I'm in here trying to figure this out myself or whatever, and that can be super frustrating. Totally get it. You didn't sign up to do a home service business, water damage, roofing, to do SEO. Most business owners didn't do that, and it can be super frustrating when you think you're doing the right thing but you're not seeing the results from it. So let's talk about, for those that want to geek out a little bit on the SEO stuff, there was a big update that started in August and in September here, that caused lots of volatility on the rankings for SEO, maps rankings, and what's called organic rankings. And so there's a tool out there by SEMrush, SEMRUS, that monitors volatility, and as of September 13th, it was at 9.2 on a 10 scale. That's the amount of volatility in the rankings and fluctuation of those. Again, this is just one measurement, but there's multiple tools out there that measure these things. And at the end of the day, what it's saying is that and it was confirmed that Google did publish an update. They say they completed it on September 7th. We've seen quite a few fluctuations at the beginning of September, and they say they're done with it, but everybody's still saying they're still pushing this out. So Google doesn't tell you exactly what they're doing. They call these tremors or whatever. You can find out more information on seroundtable.com, is a great resource, or you can also find information on searchengineland.com. Those are good sources of information. But I'm also talking to industry experts that I'm networking with, and there's some big drops, lots of chatter going on. One of the posts out here on this article that was shared was, there's a bunch of people saying huge drops. Same for me today. We lost 2,000 keywords, lost 8% in traffic. And if you start reading these things, you're like, it's time to start panicking. SEO doesn't work. And that's exactly what Google's looking for. It's looking for people to panic and then change everything. And then you basically, you're fighting, you're fighting yourself, basically. You're chasing your tail. if your rankings dropped, if you got SEO agency working for you and you were doing amazing, and then all of a sudden you got another report out and it's like, oh, everything dropped. Do not panic. Do not panic. The last thing you want to do is panic and change everything on your website or all your strategy that you have been doing. If you've been doing some negative things, such as, those fake reviews, or you're doing crazy backlinks that are pretty spammy, if you're doing a ton of AI content that's not edited, you might want to stop and pause those things. But if you're doing legit helpful content, if you're doing white hat, or what they call white hat backlink building, there's no real white hat backlink building, but if you're getting backlinks from legit resources, and you're doing citations and all of those types of things in the SEO world that you need to be doing, continue to do it, even if you had a big drop. The last thing, again, you want to do is panic. That's not going to help you. What I will say is that this is a rollout that is probably going to continue, and it's really related to helpful content. And one of the things that I was surprised to read here was that this core update was definitely related to helpful content, and that their description of this here has changed over time. So it used to be that here's one of the last updates that happened before this one, and it said something about helpful content written by people for people in the search results. The latest update said helpful content written for people in search results. So what does that tell you? They took out the word by people. Helpful content written by people for people in search results. And now it says helpful content created for people in search results. So what's that telling you? It's saying you can maybe use some AI content as long as it's helpful. Now, I'm not saying go change your whole strategy and stop writing custom content, but it sounds to me like they're making some adjustments for AI content, and as long as that content is helpful and it's not duplicated, or you're not going out to ChatGPT and you're just saying, hey, write me an article about flood cleanup, and you're just copying and paste that and throwing that in there. That's not going to be helpful, because what's going to happen is 10, 20 other companies are going to do the same thing. And there's only so many ways you can say the same thing, right? So you have to edit, you have to make it your own. You cannot keyword stuff. You cannot location keyword stuff. All of those things that are not natural, these helpful content updates are probably dinging people quite a bit. And that's the main thing that I'm seeing, is that you have to have some consistency with the amount of content you're creating, that it's helpful, and that you're solving problems for people. It's high quality content, and not just some mass produced content with low quality and low value, So what does that mean? That means create content about your industry as if you were talking to a homeowner. What kind of questions does that homeowner ask you? What kind of things come up that are part of your industry? Be a problem solver, and that's what kind of content you create. That's kind of content we create for our clients, and we try to utilize also case studies or jobs that you've completed and talk about the problem, solution, and results of that job. So then not only are you talking about the services, the location, but the actual results of it. And that is helpful content, to see a case study like that, or helpful content DIY. Like, how would you, again, think of all those common questions that homeowners ask you. I don't want to go off on a tangent about the content, but this is mainly about the updates for 2023. And, do not panic. Do not panic. If you're doing some shady stuff, maybe stop doing some of that for a little bit. I'm not saying totally stop it, or I'm not saying, totally go in on it. But at the end of the day, if you saw a big fluctuation of rankings, do not panic and do not go out and change a bunch of things that you were doing previously, because what's going to happen is things could come back. As far as like your rankings, they could come back. How long will it take to know? It'll take 2 to 3, 4 weeks to know whether things will come back. And if in 2 to 3 or 4 weeks the drop happened on your site and it continues, then there's bigger problems. Is there a bunch of duplicate content on your website? Is there bad content on your website? Do you have a bunch of, like, do you have 200 blog posts about the same thing? Like, are they all, saying the same thing in a different way? Like, sometimes less is more. And if you have, a huge SEO strategy that you've been using over the years, maybe some of that old content needs to be removed. Maybe you have a bunch of bad pages on your website, or what's called 404 errors. So I would not panic right now, and don't go changing a bunch of different things because of this big algorithm update. They will do another one probably at the end of this year and beginning of next year. And these are going to be constant. I wouldn't be surprised if they do one before the end of this year. They're constantly fighting back against, newer technologies, new ways of doing things, fake this, fake that. And at the end of the day, if you're using your head and being smart and using a strategy that's helpful, at the end of the day, you're going to recoup the results of it. There's always going to be things that somebody puts in front of your face. Hey, I can get you to the top tomorrow. If you hear that, run. Or, hey, within the first 30 days you're working with us, you're going to be on the first page. It's such bullcrap. So SEO absolutely does work. I just did a podcast about that yesterday, and it absolutely does work, but it's a long-term strategy, and you want to be mainly focusing on the map section, but that involves helpful content on your website, and so that's mainly what I wanted to cover on this, is that there will be some fluctuation. If you are monitoring your SEO results, do not panic, and don't go out and change a bunch of things or fire somebody that was doing an amazing job for you before. I see it all the time. But don't panic, and things will kind of calm out here for a little bit until Google decides to change something else, because they want you spending money on ads at the end of the day, right? So if you're chasing your tail in SEO and you get frustrated with it, what do? You turn it into ads. It's a strategy. They want to make more money. They want to make more billions of dollars in ads, right? But SEO works, and it's not going to go away. You just need to kind of fluctuate your strategy on how you're doing it. So hopefully that makes sense. That's all I've got to say about the September 2023 SEO algorithm updates. And again, do not panic. This is Sean McMeen. Thanks for listening along to this journey. If you have any questions, you can always hit me up on restorationmarketing.com. Until next time, I will talk to you later.
You've been listening to the Restoration Marketing Secrets Podcast. Sean's not here to just talk the talk. He's walked the walk. With a track record of helping over 70 damage restoration companies and engaging in over 500 conversations with industry owners, he's seen it all. From digital marketing triumphs to the most ingenious growth hacks, he's got the keys to the kingdom, and he's sharing them with you. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, for more, hit the website at restorationmarketing.com. See you next time on the Restoration Marketing Secrets Podcast.